Hello everyone, welcome back to On the Fly. Today we're taking a look at part 25 of our Sweeping Seattle series, the topic being the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning finished the regular season with a 36-17-3 record, placing them third in the Central Division. Their first round match was against the Florida Panthers, who knocked them out in six games. They then moved on to play the Carolina Hurricanes, and they knocked them out in 5 games. Their next round matchup was against the East Division's winner, the New York Islanders. The Islanders beat the Islanders in 7 games, putting them into the Stanley Cup Finals, in which they beat the Montreal Canadiens in 5 games, becoming this year's Stanley Cup champion. Overall, the expansion draft strategy for the Tampa Bay Lightning would protect as many skilled guys as possible, as they are still a cup contending team and will be for the next few years, most likely 5 years if I had to make a guess. Overall, they'll be protecting as many skilled guys, and because of this, they will be a cup contending team. Now that we know about the team, let's look at the players. Starting with the forwards, Nikita Kucherov and Steven Stamkos both have non-movement clauses. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Yanni Gourde, Tyler Johnson, Anthony Cirelli, Alex Killorn, Pat Maroon, and Matthew Joseph are all the players to meet the 2 forward exposed requirement. Matthew Stevens and Daniel Walcott both did not meet the game's play requirement, and Boris Tkachuk, Taylor Radish, Otto Sompi, Alex Barré-Boulet, and Ross Colton are all RFAs. Moving on to the defensemen, Victor Hedman has a non-movement clause. Ryan McDonough, Mikhail Sergachev, Eric Cernak, and Jan Ruda are all the defense meet the 1D exposed requirement. Cal Foote and Sean Day are RFAs. And moving on to the goalies, Andrei Vasilevsky and Sean Martin are both the goalies that meet the 1 goalie exposed requirement. Now that we know about the players, let's start protecting them. Starting with the 2 obvious forwards, Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, non-movement clause, captain and best player. Pretty easy selections here, not going to be much of a debate. Next up, the next obvious pick will be Braden Point, leading scorer in the playoffs, 14 game goal streak. Really hard not to keep the guy protected, and because of that, he will be protected. Moving on, I believe Andre Palat and Yanni Gourde will be the next 2 players. Both guys are solid, played really well in the playoffs. I believe these guys will be a part of their future cup runs, and because of this, they will be protected. Moving on down the list, Anthony Cirelli and Alex Killorn. I believe these 2 guys are my final picks, but I believe they deserve the protected spot as they are key members of the team. Killorn bringing that leadership. You could see in that game 4 how much they lacked without him. And because of this, I believe Killorn's a big part, as well as Cirelli just bringing that energy every night. And because of this, those guys will be protected. Moving on to the defense, obvious selection in Victor Hedman. No movement clause, plus best defenseman. Easy pickup for a contending team. Next up, Mikhail Sergachev. I believe this guy is a real quality player coming up on a really good contract. Really hard not to protect him. So with that, he'll be protected. And then for me, it comes down to Cernak versus McDonough. I'm picking Cernak mainly because he's a younger guy, more room to develop, where McDonough is starting to age towards that end of his career. So because of that, Eric Cernak will get the last defensive protected slot. Finally, for the goalies, your Stanley Cup Finals MVP. If you don't pick Vasilevsky as your goalie, what are you doing? Overall, best goalie in the playoffs this year. Give or take Carey Price. I know there's a lot of debate there. I think Price is still the best goalie, but others do not. And because of that, Vasilevsky will get the last goalie spot protected. Now it's Seattle's turn. I believe the 3 most important players the Kraken will take a look at will be Ryan McDonough, Tyler Johnson, and Alex Barré-Boulet. Overall, each of these players do have their ups and downs and are very different players in their own respects. McDonough kind of brings that veteran leadership. He's a very solid defender. If you watch the playoffs, you know that this guy was really hard to score on, played a great defensive minutes, and was overall one of the best defenders on the ice. Him and Hedman did really well together, and because of that, he will be one of the players to Kraken we'll take a look at. Next up, Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson is, I'd argue, one of the best players on the Tampa Bay Lightning in terms of players that are unprotected right now, and because of that, I think he'll be one to look for. And lastly, Alex Barré-Boulet is a prospect coming up. Played a little bit in the NHL, but overall, pretty solid prospect coming up. I believe that will be the 3rd player the Kraken will take a look at. But I believe, without a doubt, Tyler Johnson will be the pick out of Tampa. They may trade him before that to try and help out, try and get something in return for him. But overall, I think Tyler Johnson will be the obvious selection for the Seattle Kraken on the Tampa Bay Lightning. So with that, Tyler Johnson will be Seattle's 16th forward. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. If you liked it, drop a like. If you liked it, consider subscribing. Tell all your friends about it. Leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree with me. Until next time, see ya.